Hey, it's Okoboji Market Update time once again, ladies and gentlemen. And kind of a special treat here. We are in Arnold's Park with Dalton Kidd. And hey, guess what, Rob? He's a lawyer.
He is a lawyer.
So, guess, you know what? We've done these for 4 years, and we never charge a thing. Guess what? We got to pay this guy to do it. I mean, he gets paid by the hour, don't he?
Yeah, I need that retainer.
Yeah. Okay. Checks in the mail.
In all seriousness, folks, Dalton does some wonderful work. And we kind of talked a little bit off camera about what you do, but we're kind of focusing a little bit on title opinions. Once again, real quickly, went to law school at Drake?
Yep.
Okay. University of Iowa? Go Hawks. So, and your forte is, as we mentioned, your whole span of lawyering.
Sure. Yeah. Mostly general practice, but do a lot of business law, estate planning, real estate, some civil litigation, things like that. Usually, if we can't do it, we can help you find somebody that can.
Sure.
If we need to. So, we're trying to help you can learn the things that we don't do. So.
Exactly. Well, that's just you specialize in one part of the law, and you run with it.
Yeah.
You know everything about it, but you specialize in one or a couple of things.
Areas.
Yeah. So that's the way to go.
Yeah. It's going well. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so relating to real estate, we'll go to title opinion. And once again, we're kind of talking a little bit off camera about, I made the reference, I said, well, title opinion, I said, there's only 4 or 5 states, and there's only...
I believe there's just one that does like Iowa does it, just the title opinion. So,
and I think there might be 2 states that have abstracts, but I think Iowa's title opinion and that's it. But don't we have the cleanest titles in the country?
Yes, so it's been rated one of the best systems, if not the best system in the country.
Wow. There you go. See, we even came up with sliced bread too, remember?
Title opinion is something that a lot of out-of-state buyers, they have a question about it because they often ask about title insurance. And I think they're more than welcome to get that in their state if they'd like, but we always do title opinion. So,
or title guarantee. Yeah.
So defining what it is. Dalton.
Sure. I'll kind of start with the process. As you guys know, you're getting things together. Main thing is getting that purchase agreement or those listing agreements and things like that signed.
Yep.
We don't usually get involved until the purchase agreement is done. And then, as you guys know, it's tracking down that abstract as soon as you can. Half the time you don't know where it's at. So, and then the abstract, I think you guys had met with Cornell Abstract and their process of updating those. And then the abstract basically goes back a long ways. The history of the property, easements, mortgages, foreclosures, marriage dissolutions, child support, all that, and everything else there. Going back, sometimes I get lost from they're back in the 1800s and stuff like that. So cool history in some of them. So once Cornell or the abstract company, if it's in a different county, they update it, they'll send it to us, and we'll get a request for a title opinion for the buyer. The buyers may go, well, what do I need that for, like you said? So a lot of times their bank, if they're going to finance, and with the prices of real estate and everything, most people are going to finance things. And even if you don't, I would recommend getting a title opinion even if you're not financing it, because the title opinion it's a legal opinion about what's stated in the abstract. So we list easements. A lot of people skip over those, and those can be very crucial. As you guys know, if there's a neighbor has an easement over your property, they can use it up to a point or something, and then you build over top of that, you can get in a jam there at that point. So,
and the only way to get rid of an easement is to have both parties say, okay, we don't need it anymore. Not just one, it takes both of you.
Yes, they'll have to do that, or you'd have to fight over it in court too, and you don't want to.
But we know who wins in court, don't we?
That's right.
He's still getting paid.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We also look at the mortgages, and we want to get those released. And as you guys know, we want to get a clear title to the buyer. So if there's judgments out there against the seller, if there's sometimes I had a guy the other day. He said, I want to get this title opinion, even though I'm almost sure it's clean, just because he had been burned before, and once you close that transaction, you really can't go back and get those things figured out, or the seller's kind of just saying, I got my money, I'm done, So it's a good idea to get those. Like I said, if you have a bank, they're going to require it, almost always there. And so it's just a list of easements, ordinances, things like that, mortgages that have to get released, making sure what the name of the person that owns the property, how they have it as titled. Sometimes they don't realize they either have it in one name or both names, or they have a trust or an entity,
or even if it went instead of joint tenants, it'd be like tenants in common, something like that.
And just want to get that cleared up, so for when you're doing your deed, that we have the correct name of the seller and the correct name of the buyer going forward. So we try to alleviate issues. So it's more of a preemptive type deal to clean things up.
And it's amazing when you think about it, like how Iowa does it. You guys actually touch years back, not just buy an insurance policy hoping it's going to be okay. I mean, you guys actually go back and look at pages of the history of when that person bought it, and probably even maybe one or two back, just to make sure that things are all kosher for the next new buyer.
Yeah, so we like easements, they last forever essentially. So we go back from the first page and look for any easements and things like that. But yeah, there's what's called the 40-year Marketable Title Act, which means we have to go back 40 years. If there was a mortgage before then we're probably okay, unless it got extended out already, something like that. But we go back at least 40 years to make sure that you're going to get clear title, that there's no judgments. The other thing that comes up a lot in our area is they're part of an association, or it's a horizontal property regime, condos, or just a homeowners association, because we want to see if there's liens by the association against them, or their dues. And as you guys know, we got to prorate those and all that stuff.
You bet.
The fun part. I tell people, I know it's for your bank, but look through them as well, because the bank really doesn't care a whole lot about the easements per se. You may, depending on what you're going to end up doing with the property.
Yeah, like you say, the bank might not care about the easement, but it might mean everything to you.
And I shouldn't say they wouldn't care at all, but because it could affect their, the quality of the property, or things like. I tell everybody to read it, like I tell everything. Please read everything, whether you do or not. It's a quick question. But yeah, that's kind of the goal of the title opinion. And then a lot of times, if there is an issue, we try to work through with seller. Hey, you need an affidavit to say you've been in possession of the property. The other thing to look out is somebody passed away, and
so
we have to go through probate to get that cleared up and stuff like that.
And there's purchaser affidavits, all that good stuff it's a lot. That's why we have attorneys, so we don't have to always remember it.
I was going to say, we just did this for your benefit. Have you written all this down?
Yeah, that's right.
So it is an extensive process, Dalton, and this is the reason why we hand it off to people like yourself. So yeah, it's definitely just a good feeling to have that, title opinion right there. Then you're clean and good to go. Got a solid property.
That's right.
Cool. One burning question though: have you read all these books in here?
I have not.
Okay.
They are for show. We do all our research online. I think I've opened a couple of them. Maybe.
At least you have many leather-bound books to impress the ladies. Dalton, thank you so much for your input and giving us kind of an idea of the direction how title opinion goes, and other practices that you can handle as well. So
thank you.
Yeah, we invite people to stop
really
by.
Appreciate it, Dalton.
We got to shake a lawyer's hand, man. We've got connections. I'm hooked up. So once again, we thank him so much for stop by and say hi here in Arnold's Park. Easy guy to talk to if you can't tell. So thanks so much for Dalton.
Thanks.
We really appreciate it. We will be right back. Talk a little market update.
Hope that was pretty educational for people watching this, for Dalton to come in here. That was, you brought in a lot.
I'm impressed. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm impressed. It's just, it's kind of putting it out there that there's a lot of information when it comes to a title.
It's a very important part of a closing.
Actual transaction. Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot. And a lot of times we don't think that lawyers do much or that we do much, but there's a lot involved when it comes to paperwork. So
certainly is. Well, let's talk about what we got going on here, Jimmy.
Yeah. I tell you what, market update wise, locally, once again, we kind of study the trends. Locally, nationally, you name it. And one of the reasons, why people would sell, is it a good time to sell now? Should you sell now? Rob, what do you think? I mean,
I think, if the mood fits you, yes. What feels good? If you want to wait for lower interest rates, well, you could wait for a long time. Or are you going to try to wait for them to get to the very bottom? Well, you never know where the bottom's going to be. So if there's something that comes across your table now, and you love it and you want it, go for it. And if the rates come down, refinance.
Right.
Pretty easy.
So it's kind of one of them things that run across it quite a bit, that you're tied to the house you're in, tied emotionally.
Yep.
And I've had this conversation a couple times this week, as a matter of fact, where they're just emotionally tied to the house. And Well, it's you kind of have to come to that crossing where you're like, well, I need to go here. I want to go. I have a client who said I need to go to a big city. I got to get there, but I don't want to give up this house. Well, one or two options: you either keep it and rent it, or sell it.
It's emotions or economics with real estate.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for selling. This is some national stats here, folks, and the top reason for selling, Rob, would be
family and friends.
Yep, getting closer to family and friends. In the bottom would be job relocation and moving due to retirement. So a couple of interesting factors there. In the middle, the home's too small is 13%. Change in family situation, 10%. Neighborhood has become less desirable. That's kind of low. That's an interesting one. Tied 9%, tied with homes too large.
Sure.
So that's the national average on why people will move, and it all makes sense because we hear that quite a bit as real estate agents.
Certainly do. Certainly do.
So, I mean, whatever your choice may be, we're here to help as always. The market analysis is something that's an invaluable tool, Rob, that we work with all the time. It's an opinion of value, doesn't affect anything else other than we're saying, hey, this is what the market is showing. So one thing that we do see, to expound a little farther, is that we're still in a kind of a phase, and we see a lot of home prices that they're lowering a few here and there. It doesn't mean the home value's gone down. What it means is that there's still some sellers out there who might feel that they can get a little bit larger money than what the home actually is going for.
Right.
So
they're not depreciating. They might just be decelerating, but they're not depreciating.
You bet. The market rolls like it is. Of course, the Iowa Great Lakes here locally, we'll go to that. Typically, what I deal with is in the fall, I get a lot of clients who want to move here, some who are fed up with the situation and they're like, we're going elsewhere, we want to move. And then it rolls around to spring. That group of people that I deal with a lot of times, once again, they want to get in or they want to get out. So there's some reasons for selling.
Yeah, that's great.
So check it out, Okoboji.com, ladies and gentlemen, all the great information, our MLS listings as well. And
YouTube. And subscribe and smash that like button, please.
You bet. Instagram, TikTok, a little Snapchat. We do it all, ladies and gentlemen. And we thank Dalton Kidd for letting us stop by. Stop by and say hi to him, man. He's a great guy. A lot of fun to talk with.
He certainly is.
And he's very knowledgeable. He maybe read a few of these books.
I'm sure.
So thank you so much for joining us once again. I'm Jimmy McLenz, and I'm all about you.
I'm Rob HINN, and say something nice to somebody. Make them feel good. Thanks.